All right. All right. Been having some technical difficulties on these videos, so I really hope this one is working. All right, we're working on Unit 1, Wages, Lesson 3, Commissions, Royalties, and Piecework Pay. We're working on day 3 today, and you're going to find this video right here, right? You click that, that's why I'm talking right now. That's why you're hearing my voice. It's because you knew that you could find the video instruction for the instructional support days right there. Okay, so learning targets. Learning target number 1. Uh, After you complete all the modules attached to this lesson, you should be able to say that I can compute pay based on percent commissions, that you can compute piecework pay, and that you can describe the advantages and the disadvantages of pay based on production. All right, let's look at example 5 here. And this is a worked example, right? I'm going to present you with a problem. We're going to show you a worked example, and so you can kind of see how this is done. Glassman Chevrolet pays a commission to its car salespeople. They are paid a percent of the profit the dealership makes on the car, not on the selling price of the car. If the profit is under $750, the commission rate is 20%. If the profit is at least $750 and less than or equal to $1,000, the commission rate is 22% of the profit. If the profit is above $1,000, the rate is 25% of the profit. If X represents the profit, express the commission C of X as a piecewise function. All right, and this is what a piecewise function, when you express it in piecewise notation, the function notation, this is what it looks like here. You have the function C of X, and this bracket says all of this belongs, all of this belongs to the function C of X. And then you have to look at these pieces here to tell what part of the function operates when, right? When the profit is between 0 and $750, then there is then this part of the function is in effect, right? This domain is in effect. But when the domain is $750 between $750 and $1,000, then this goes into effect. This part of the function goes into effect. But when x is greater than 1,000, this part is in effect. So let's talk about that. So the solution is that we're going to have a piecewise function with different rules for each of the different domains. The domains is the ranges of x, the different x values, right? So the salespeople get paid 20% if the profits are less than $750. So they sell a car and the profit on that car is only $600. Well, then that salesperson is only going to get 20% of that $600. If the profit is between 750 and 1,000, like 900, then they'll get paid 22% of the profit. The percentage rate of profit, the percentage rate that the salesperson gets goes up as the profit gets greater, right? This incentivizes the salespeople to sell the more expensive stuff, right? That's why salespeople sometimes can have a reputation as being pushy, because they have a financial incentive to kind of push on you the most expensive thing they can get you to buy, right? Now, the smart ones will know they'd rather have some sale rather than no sale. So any sale is good. Just the higher sales are better. But sometimes some of the others can be a little bit pushy because they're trying to sell you the most expensive thing that you can buy, because the most expensive thing you can buy means the maximum the maximum pay for them. And 25% commission rate for profits that are greater than 1,000. So if the profit on selling this car is $3,000, well then 25 to 25% commission rate kicks in, and that's how you read this function here, right? If the profit's between 0 and 750, x is the profit. When the profit is between 0 and 750, we're going to take 0.2 and multiply it by the profit to find out how much you're paid, right? Or the salesperson is paid. So this 0.20 is 20% expressed as a decimal out of 1, right? This 0.22 is 22% as a decimal expressed out of 1. And this 0.25 times x is taking the profit, multiplying it by 25% of the profit when x is greater than 1,000. All right, that's kind of how you read these piecewise things. So the first question for you to answer is, how much would a salesperson make if they sold a car that brought in $2,500 in profit for the dealership? Pause. Now you know what I'm going to say, right? Pause me now and try to do this on your own so that you will have the have the experience of having had to process these on your own, and you'll have to open up those neural pathways in your brain, and you'll have learned much more than if you just waited for me to do it. So you pause it, do it yourself. Great, for the magic of video, you've unpaused me, and here I am. I'm going to explain this. All right, so 2,500. Where does that fall in my domain here? Where does that fall in my piecewise function? Well, that is more than 1,000. That is more than 1,000, which means I need to use this piece of the function. So 0.25 times x. And remember what x is? X, in this case, is my 2,500. 2,500. All right? And I'm going to go to my handy-dandy calculator to solve this. Waiting for the calculator. There we go. 0.25 times 2,500. There we go. $625 for the sale of this one car. The salesperson will get paid $625. Oop, that's not what I wanted. I wanted this. There we go. That's the commission that the salesperson will get. Now let's do this for $600 in profit. Well, how much would the salesperson make if the car they sold, if they sold a car that brought in $600 in profit for the dealership? All right, pause me now. Figure it out. You can do this. You got it. You've seen the last one. This will be no problem. Through the magic of video, I'm unpaused. I'm unfrozen. You're ready for me to explain it just to check your work, right? So I'm $600 in profit. $600 falls here. It falls between 0 and 750. So I need to use this part of the function. So 0.20 times $600, right? I'm going to substitute $600 in for the x there. And then I go to my handy-dandy calculator. 0.20 times 600. 120. This time, the salesperson will only get paid $120 when they sell a car at 20% of $600 in profit to the dealership. So they sell that car and they've made a cool $120 for the, I guess for one day that's not too bad, but it's not as nice as making $625 for one sale, right? I'm sure you'd all rather be getting paid $625 a day rather than $120 a day, right? Here's Bob Johnson Chevrolet. It's an auto dealership in Rochester. So Bob Johnson Chevrolet pays a commission to its salespersons. They are paid a percent of the profit the dealer makes on the car, not on the selling price of the car. If the profit is under $825, the commission rate is 20%. If the profit is at least $825 and less than or equal to $1,200, the commission rate is 24%. And if the profit is above $1,200, the rate is 30% of the profit. If x represents the profit, express the commission as a piecewise function. All right, so this is going to be a little difficult because we are working with piecewise functions in a Google form. So I recognize the difficulties here, and here's the way I'm going to have you get around this. Well, first, no, you know what? I'm not even going to ask you to pause because I've never even taught you how to do this right. So I'm going to show you right now how to do it. So I've already kind of given you a hint right here. This is like my hint to how to get this done. Something, something, dark side, right? So c of x is going to be my function, right? And I got that because it tells me to represent this function as the c of x. The problem told me what to call this. C of x is going to equal, all right? I'm going to use this bracket as my first line of this, right? So here's how I have to do it. I see 20%, so I'm going to focus on this part here first. I wish there's a way for me to keep this there. I'm going to use one of my tools here. This is what I'm going to look at first. And now let me try this. All right, that'll work. That's a handy tool. All right. 0, I'm going to convert this into a decimal. So 0.20, my 20%, multiplied by x, right? Times x. And then I'm going to put in like a comma or a semicolon. And let's see. Yes, put in a comma. And then I want to state this when the profit is under 125. So when x is less than 825. All right? When x is less than 825, and then what you do is you close that bracket, right? Close that bracket, and then put in a semicolon. And then we're going to give a new bracket, like the second line. This is like the second line of it. And it's going to be, again, I know this is not ideal. I understand that we were not supposed to do this on a Google form, but I thought, that, what the heck, we could try. And I know if you don't like it, you don't like it, but I hear you. I appreciate you. I'm not saying it's ideal. I'm just saying we can do it. And if we can do it, I want to show it to you at least. I want you to know this exists, right? I don't want to just skip piecewise functions just because it's hard to do on a Google form, if you feel me. All right, 24%. So I see that 24%, so I'm going to put 0.4. I'm converting that 24% into a decimal out of 1 in my head. If you don't want to do that, you could do something like 24 divided by 100, right? It's totally legit. Same thing as 0.24. I'm going to times it by x, right? Times it by x. And then how do I have to say this? I have to say if the profit is at least 825 and less than or equal to 1,000. So here, again, this is where things are less than ideal, and I recognize this. I'm going to put the 825 in here. I'm going to do less than. So notice how what I've just written, actually, let me just complete the whole thought before I lose it. There we go. Notice, pay special attention to where this x is here, okay? This x is right there. And read it from the x. Read this expression from the x. This says when x is great, if you read this, it says when x is greater than 825, when the x is greater than 825, but then if you go the other way, if you read from left to right now, the x is less than 120. So this is what this is the mathematical expression of saying if the profit is at least 825 and is less than or equal to 1,200. Now this is not perfect. This isn't perfect because technically there should be some less than or equal to signs going on here, right? You see that? Or equal to? This is just less than 1,200. I should have a little line underneath here. I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to make a little line that goes under here to say that this means x is greater than or equal to 825 and x is less than or equal to 120. So we're just going to have to deal with the imperfection of Google Forms because we're not going to give up just because it's hard. Yeah, and just do it like that. And yes, it's not proper. It's not perfect. It's not the way the math should be done. But you know what? We're going to make the best with what we got. So I'm going to close the bracket there. I'm going to close the bracket there. I'm going to put a semicolon in. And then I'm going to do this last piece. I'll do the last piece. I'm going to pick, I don't know, violet maybe. I'm going to do this next piece over here. Right in there. All right, let's see how this works. Gonna need the eraser to get rid of that blotchy part. Okay. So this next part, I need a bracket, right? I need a bracket just like I have before. I'm going to convert 30% into a decimal out of 1 in my head. I'm going to times it by x because it's based on the profit. I'm going to put in a comma, and now it's if the profit is above 1,200. So if x is greater than 1,200. And you could have also written this the other way, right? You could have said 1,200 is less than x. It doesn't matter which way you do it, so long as you've got the sign pointing the right way. If I read this, I'm going to read it as 1,200 is less than x, which is the same thing as saying x is greater than 1,200. You can read it from left to right, from right to left, however you want to do that. All right. Am I done? Yes. Close that, and boom, we've got a piecewise function on a Google form. Feel impressed with yourself. This wasn't easy. I'm not going to ask you too many of these. Don't worry about it. I mostly just did this just so you could see that it can be done. All right. Example 6. Example 6. Joyce works at Fortano's Furniture. She is paid on commission. She receives 10% of her first $900 in sales and 15% of the balance of her sales. So that's everything above after 900. Last week she earned $750. What was her total value of the furniture she sold? Okay, so we're being told how much she earned. We're going to use that to figure out how much furniture she sold. So we're going to let X represent the total value of the furniture. We know that the commission for the first 900. So this is like a known thing. We know that on the first $900 of commission, she gets 10%, right? That's what it says in the problem right there. So then we're going to say that we know that X is possibly something greater than 900. So we're going to do X minus 900. And we know that she got paid 15% for anything over the 900. So we're going to times 15% times the difference between 900 and what X is over 900, right? Which looks like this expression right here, right? They're going to add these two things together, right? You add this plus this, that gives her money. And we know her money was 750, so we can put that in there. Well, this just becomes now a simple algebra problem. These two multiplied together is 90. And this 0.15 distributed across the parentheses looks like that, right? It's 0.15x minus 135. They're simplifying like terms here. They're combining the 90 and the 135 to get this expression 0.15 times x minus 45 equals 750. And then they added, they added 45 on both sides. Then they divided 0.15 on both sides, and they found out that X is 5,300, right? She must have sold $5,300 worth of furniture in order for her to have gotten paid $750. Well, here's Ray Moore and Flanagan, a well-known furniture dealer in Rochester, and I am going to have you work on this one on your own. Give that a shot. If you have questions, maybe I'll make another video to pop on this one. Advantages and disadvantages of working on based on commission. The advantage of working on commission is that if you can make lots of sales, then you can make lots of money. The disadvantages are if you can't make lots of sales, you don't make a lot of money, even if you're working lots and lots of hours. So the advantage is that you can work very little and make lots of money if you can, make those sales happen. The disadvantages is if you can work lots of hours and not get very much money if you can't make those sales happen. And some of making those sales happen depends on you, how good you are as a salesperson. Some of it depends on the economy, right? If the economy just stinks, you're going to have a hard time selling things just because people don't want to spend their money.